lyrical content, frequencies and more that people are subjected to on a daily basis, especially the young. Well, roughly when did this start? Who writes these songs and their lyrics? Which artists, wittingly or unwittingly, might be involved? Let's find out. Please welcome Mark Devlin.
Cheers, Rob. Evening, folks. Thanks for turning out tonight. Sorry for the technical difficulties once again. Despite being a DJ, I'm actually a technical Luddite, totally clueless, always reliant on there being some techno boffins around to help me out, so, you know, that's important. I've done probably about 10 of these talks now with this content, and each time it grows in length because I find myself needing to add lyrical content to it, or needing to add something topical that's just happened in the music industry to help illustrate the points. So it's up to about 3 hours now, and I know we don't have 3 hours tonight, so I'm going to present an abridged version, and I'm going to be zipping through various aspects of it quite quickly, but we'll see where it takes us anyway. Little bit of introduction then, just to set the scene. I've been a DJ for the last 20-odd years, 24 years. Radio and club DJ, and I've been fortunate enough to travel all over the UK in that time and to many different countries around the world. And for many years I didn't really give much thought to what it was I was a part of. I just played the role that was expected of a DJ in terms of taking music that you're serviced by the record companies and the promo companies and playing it in appropriate settings. And as I say, I was quite oblivious to anything else that might be going on behind the scenes for many years. But it got to 2008, and at that point in my life I started having quite a lot of questions about what was really going on in the world and what this world and this reality is anyway. And the process started in 2008 with me reading a lot of books by various different authors and researchers. Much of it I was put onto by my dad, who's always been a free-thinking, alternative-minded sort of guy. And the process accelerated by 2010. Control and manipulate pretty much every area of human activity. So they've had politics locked down since the year dot. They've come to infiltrate and control the educational establishments, schools, colleges, universities and such. They've come to infiltrate the scientific establishment in terms of establishing scientific norms and in terms of building a perception of what is possible and what isn't possible in the physical world, or apparently physical world. They've come to infiltrate and control all the big corporations, all the telecoms and communications industries, the food and drink industries, and the military, of course. And once you've taken the time and trouble to manipulate and control all those different areas of human life, it would be very remiss of you to leave out a brilliant opportunity for mind control and social engineering and shaping people's perceptions of themselves and the world that they live in, that is presented by the entertainment industry. And the three main strands of that would be the television industry, Hollywood movies, and the music industry. And the music industry is what sparked my interest in terms of the way it's used for these purposes, having been a lifelong music fan and having worked in it for so long. I bought my first record when I was 5, so I've always been into the pop music of the day. That was Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, by the way, if anyone's wondering, which isn't too uncool. But I reached the point where I came to realise that what I was a part of as a radio and club DJ was being used for, you know, questionable ends by those that don't have humanity's best interests at heart, shall we say. So there's many aspects to how the music industry is being used along these lines, and we're going to look at a fair few of those this evening. Always good to start with a quote from Plato. Plato, I feel, which just sums up the way that music is so powerful in making you feel a certain way. It can really play with the emotions and really create sensations, and of course the manipulators know this. So one of the first things that really sparked my attention was some of the symbolism and imagery that was starting to get put into music videos. I remember days when music videos bore some kind of relation to the song and the artist in question. Often they were very overblown and pretentious, but you didn't get a lot of dark occult symbolism in them, which we've seen over the past few years. And I noticed this happening from around about 2007, 2008, big time, when it really seemed like the agenda was getting stepped up. Here's a good example from the song Die Young, lovely song by Kesha. Sentiments are all about, hey, let's all go out and get wasted and party and have sex with whoever we want, because we're all going to die young anyway, and life is just pointless and aimless, so who cares? Really nice sentiments for a teenage audience there. And in the video, there are 3 stills here, and we have an upside down cross, we have a pentagram, which you might expect to be inverted, but in this instance it's not, and we have a pyramid with an all-seeing eye in it. And this is very representative of many symbols that I'm seeing cropping up time and time again in popular music videos. We have one here from the song Scream and Shout, will.i.am and Britney Spears, and here's just one of so many examples you see now of a pyramid. We've also got some monarch butterflies going on in this as well, and if I get time to go into the section on mind control, MK Ultra mind control and monarch programming, you'll see how that fits in. Here's a lovely one as well for your kids to see. This is a video by Rihanna from the single Umbrella, which came out in 2007, big #1 hit. And you have this scene where, on the left there, she's apparently striking a particular pose within a pyramid. But when you look at the image closer, you see that that pose is physically, anatomically impossible to achieve. And the image has been digitally manipulated, and there are many researchers that have said that what we're seeing is a depiction of Baphomet, the satanic entity as it's been adopted as. And we've got the horns going on there, and we've got the sort of face of Baphomet being evoked by this image. Either way, pretty dark stuff to find in a pop video, I'm sure you'd agree. And the other thing about this particular image is that it's on screen for a split second. You blink and you miss it, and it's gone. And this is designed, of course, to go straight into the subliminal mind, which absorbs so many things that the conscious mind doesn't. And that's where the real power and the effect lies. This is another split-second image that you see in a song, it's claimed to be, by Lil Wayne, Love Me. I don't know what I'd call it, but it wouldn't be a song. And there's a line in it where he says, "These hoes love me like Satan, man." I'm not entirely sure why the hoes would love Satan in the first place, but apparently they do. And at the point where he says that, he kind of turns into this demonic entity, and you've got the girl there with a monarch butterfly covering one of her eyes. Again, that's a split-second one. As is this. And there's no apparent reason for this to be in the video that it is. It's in a video by Robin Thicke, Give It To You. And for a split second, again, blink and you miss it, you get this horrific kind of demonic face just flashing up on the screen. It's a bit dark there, but I'm sure you can get the idea of what's going on. Another pyramid image from Rihanna, they're all over the place. You see the same sort of images cropping up time and time again with the same artists as well. This one is Kanye West's video for Power, and you've got everything going on here. And the interesting thing about this video is it's just one image for the course of the 3-minute song, and the camera starts panned in on some very close detail, and during the course of the song it pans out and you get to see more and more of the detail. Those that study symbolism and the occult would have a field day with this, but there's all kinds of stuff going on. I would question what it's doing in an apparent pop music video. So now we get into some of the interesting hand symbols that many of the A-list artists are flashing up in their videos all the time now. This was something that I started to look at the same time as all these symbols in videos. This is a very common one, which Jay-Z has done many times over the years. And he makes this sort of triangular sign with his hands. And the cover story for it is that it's the rock sign. It's referred to as the rock sign. It's supposed to be a celebration of bling hip-hop culture, rags to riches, you know, making it big through the music game. And he will throw up the instruction in live concerts to all the fans to throw up your rock signs, and it's supposed to symbolise a diamond, as in a rock. And I was interested quite a while later to discover that this particular sign is one of the grade signs that was used by the AA occult organisation, nothing to do with alcohol or automobiles, but one of the secret societies that Aleister Crowley was ahead of at one time. And here we have Jay-Z flashing up this same symbol. And here's the guy that he chose to name his record company after. Rockefeller, David Rockefeller there, patriarch of the Rockefeller bloodline currently. Yeah, Jay-Z, when he first formed his record label, decided to call it Rockefeller, as in rock a fella. These days it's known as Rock Nation. But of all the people that you could use as an inspiration for your business venture, I would question your judgment if you choose this guy, given what his family represents. And so here we have a bunch of Jay-Z fans on instruction, throwing up their rock signs in a concert. And I came to understand, as part of this conscious awakening, that everything in existence is made up of sound and light energy, vibrating and resonating at different frequencies. And it's all about manipulating energy. If you understand the way reality works, and if you want to harness it and control it in line with your agenda. And clearly, those that pull the strings of the music industry understand this, and they have a vested interest in certain symbols being put out there into the sort of morphogenic field, because they have an effect on the reality that manifests as a result of that. And so it's all about the will and the intent that is placed on the symbol when it's created. So you have these fans thinking that the symbol they're throwing up is representing one thing, the celebration of, you know, bling hip-hop culture, but in actual fact, those that have manipulated them into creating this symbol have other intentions as to the effect that it's intended to have. And as I said, it doesn't always have humanity's best interests at heart. Here we have a familiar symbol, the pyramid with the all-seeing eye and the detached capstone that you see on the back of the US dollar bill. And we see that cropping up many times in videos and other symbols as well, which we'll get onto. Jay-Z and his best mate Kanye West doing the same symbol. Another one there. And here's Mrs. Jay-Z, Beyonce, although probably not for much longer if the celebrity rags are to be believed. And this was at a Grammys event in 2013 where Beyonce was performing at the halftime show, and she spontaneously threw up this same hand signal just for a split second as the cameras were on her. And there was some speculation at the time as to what the meaning was behind this. The cover story, because there's always a cover story, was that she was paying homage to her old man's record label and kind of supporting him, but there could be something else going on here, I would suggest. And all this stuff with hand signals has become so embedded in popular culture now that the sun, that bastion of truth and integrity, actually ran an article on it last year, and they titled it Jay-Z, Rihanna and the Cabal Obsessed with Triangles That Now Runs the World, with allegedly in brackets. And the tone of the piece is very mocking. You know, they're kind of taking the piss out of conspiracy theorists, so-called, and kind of writing it all off as just this innocent thing. And they would suggest that the reason the artists choose to put up these hand signals and all the rest of it is just to be cool and to be fashionable. But you'd expect the Sun to kind of write off the story in that way, because that's its agenda. But I do find it interesting that the whole thing has embedded itself in popular culture to the extent that the Sun is actually running stories on it. And here we have Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan in the US, throwing up the same symbol that we've seen before a few times. So that particular hand signal certainly gets around a bit. And we're back to the pyramid, another one that crops up time and time again. And this featured on the back of a jacket worn by Madonna in the movie Desperately Seeking Susan, going back to 1985 for this, long before any talk of the Illuminati or New World Order or any such concepts were being discussed, you know, on a cultural level. And who noticed this at the time or understood the significance of it? But when you see artists brazenly flaunting symbols like this, which are basically the calling cards of the organisations that own them, they're just sending out a little message there as to who their true masters are. And we'll also get into the extent to which many of these artists are truly owned and have truly sold their souls to the corporations that control them as we go on, and not speaking figuratively either, speaking literally. So here's another hand signal that we'll see a lot of, and it's Beyonce once again. And this was, I think, the Super Bowl halftime show of last year, straight after the Grammys. And she was in the audience this time, and as the camera came round, she flashed up this symbol with her fingers. And as I said, everything comes with a cover story in this world, an innocent, plausible deniability sort of reason for it being. And this symbol is often taken popularly to mean okay. When you do this, you're just saying everything's okay, everything's cool. But I would suggest that it has other connotations. Many researchers into the dark occult will tell you that it's a depiction of a 6, and the 3 fingers are supposed to indicate the fact that you're taking the 6 3 times, so effectively it's 666. And if that is a symbol that you want getting put out there into the energetic field and having the effect that you desire, what better way than to create a cover story for it and to get everyone thinking that what they're actually saying is it's okay, everything's okay, but in actual fact it's having another effect without these people realising it. And here we have Justin Bieber, and we'll hear from him later as well, doing the same sort of thing over the eye as well. So it's 2 symbols for the price of 1 there. And a very young Michael Jackson. One thing that I did come to discover was that the manipulation and control of prominent music artists goes way back, pretty much to the creation of the pop music industry. I was a bit green and a bit naive in the early days in terms of thinking it to be a modern phenomenon, something that's, you know, really happened with artists in the last few years. But it becomes clear as you look into it that it's been going on forever. So here's a young Michael Jackson probably having no clue what's going on, just being asked to do this signal in a photo shoot. And not just pop stars either. You see some of these symbols going on in other walks of life as well. And so you have to ask yourself what's really happening and what are they really trying to communicate here. Could it be that ultimately all these individuals, from Obama to Justin Bieber and everyone in between, is owned and controlled by the same individuals that operate from behind the shadows?